Thank you, Ron. So for most of my adult life, I have been a National Public Radio nerd. Any NPR nerds in here? I love NPR, and to the point where when I'm driving in my car, I don't even listen to the radio anymore, music. I just listen to NPR. And that's why my kids don't ride with me. So several years ago, I was listening to NPR, and I came across a program on the radio. It was called the Moth Radio Hour. Anybody ever heard of it? All right. The Moth Radio Hour is a program where people like you and me, all over the country, all over the world really, are telling stories. I was intrigued. I started listening, and I became addicted. Now I listen to the Moth Radio Hour, I listen to the podcast. I soon found out that Atlanta was one of 30 cities in the U.S. that has a live open mic Atlanta Moth Story Slam. Now this is a program that meets once a month, typically on the second or third Monday, downtown at the Theatrical Outfit on Lucky Street, right next to the Rialto Theater. You buy a ticket, you go to the show, you put your name in the hat. If your name is pulled, you get to come on stage and tell a 5-minute personal story. Here are the rules. It has to be a story. It can't be a rant. It can't be karaoke, singing and dancing, poetry. It has to be a story. It has to be true. It has to be a personal story about yourself. You can't use any notes or prompts. And it must be respectful, because in Atlanta we have, a very mixed audience. So, no homophobiaism, anything like that at all. So those were the rules. I started going to the Moth on a regular basis in 2022, and I've never missed a show. Now, I'm a Toastmaster. I've been a Toastmaster for 30 years. I've been in speech contests. I've hosted district contests. I've given workshops and seminars at the district and at international. How hard could it be to get on a stage and tell a 5-minute story? Boy, was I wrong. What I quickly discovered is that telling a story is a lot different than giving a speech. It was like left brain, right brain thinking. I had to unlearn a lot of the things that I had learned in Toastmasters over the past 30 years. So I started putting my name in the hat. I stumbled a couple times. I got on stage, told stories. Eventually, I got the hang of it. And eventually, one night, I even won the Atlanta Moth Story Slam. But wait, there's more. And the host of the Moth was this gentleman named John Good. If you've ever heard of John Good is this mythical figure. He's a legend in Atlanta. He's an Emmy-nominated poet, storyteller, author extraordinaire. I mean, John Good was huge. John Good was just the master. Watching him on stage, hosting the Moth, was like watching a maestro leading an orchestra. People not only came to the Moth to hear the stories and tell stories, they came to the Moth to hear John Good. John Good was just that good. So I'm going to the Moth, I'm telling stories, I won a story slam. Eventually I started volunteering, helping out, helping them set up, break down, take score, whatever they needed. And I got to know the producer, the cast, and the crew, and I got to know John. In March of 2024, to everybody's surprise, John Good announces that he's retiring from the show. Shock. John Good had been hosting the Moth ever since it was introduced in Atlanta in 2017. By now, the Moth was flying John all over the world, hosting grand slams, opening new cities for the Moth, everywhere from London to Alaska. I'd be listening to the radio on the weekend, and I hear John Good on the radio. That's how big John was. So John's retiring, everybody's surprised. And so now I was kind of familiar with the crew. I knew everybody. To my surprise, Gina Williams, the show's producer, asked me if I would like to take over hosting the Moth for John. What? Are you kidding? I would be honored. I was blown away. I couldn't believe it. And so I immediately thought about how big John's shoes was going to be to fill. I mean, I'm thinking Jay Leno taking over for Carson on The Tonight Show. Ken Jennings taking over for Alex Trebek on Jeopardy. Okay, maybe it wasn't that epic. So I was a little nervous at first, but John coached me. John said, "Hey, Al, you got this, man." He coached me for 2 months. He gave his last show in May of 2024, and I hosted my first Moth show in June of 2024. So this June, I'll be celebrating my 2-year anniversary as host of the Moth. And I've even got to host 2 Grand Slams in front of sold-out audiences of over 800 people at the center stage. It's been mind-blowing. You know, the whole experience with the Moth has been it's just incredible. I remember about a week before I hosted my first show, the producer, Gina, called me on the phone and she said, "Al, send me your W-9. I said, you going to pay me for this? That's what I thought. I didn't say that. I said, they're going to pay me for that? And it never dawned on me to ask if it was any pay involved. I would have did this for free. So I sent her my W-9, and the rest is history. I am telling you, being a host of the Moth and attending the Moth for the past several years has been nothing short of life-changing. One thing I've learned, the most important thing I've learned being a part of the Moth and being involved with the Moth is the importance of stories. In Toastmasters, we're told how to give speeches. But that's not what gets your audience. That's not what touches your audience's heart. That's not what connects you to your audience. What connects you to your audience and what makes the biggest impact is telling stories. And the Moth has been just an incredible thrill ride. What we've managed to do at the Moth is we've managed to build a community of storytellers. It never ceases to amaze me and the Moth, it sells out every month. Tickets go on sale 3 weeks in advance of the show. And Larry's shaking his head back there. Larry's been, tickets go on sale 3 weeks. It sells out within 24 to 48 hours. So it's literally the hottest ticket in town. The Moth is and I'm not just saying this because I'm involved with, but as far as storytelling goes, nationwide, the Moth has done more to revitalize storytelling in this country than any other organization. And in Atlanta, the Moth Story Slam, for those of you who aspire to be storytellers and to learn and grow in storytelling, the Moth is the pinnacle of storytelling. And so when people come out to the Moth, everyday people like you and I, they put their name in a hat. I was at an event last night at Eddie's Attic, and it was by Atlanta storytellers, and it's called The Songs That Shape Us. Katina, who's now the producer of the Moth, was one of the speakers on the stage last night. And she told this amazing story about how she had gotten a divorce and how her world was falling apart. She worked for the CDC. The current administration came in, laid off everybody. She had lost her job. She was really down. And she told a story about how she remembered how she was a theater major in high school and how she had this creative side. And she said, I went to the Moth and I put my name in a hat and I started telling stories. And she told a story, and the moral of her story is the Moth literally turned her life around. I remember a couple of months after I started hosting, I was about 2 months in, and we take an intermission in between. I was out in the lobby, and a gentleman came up to me and he said, hey man, you're doing a really great job hosting. How long have you been doing this? And without even thinking, instinctively I said, I've been doing this over 30 years. I said, but I've been hosting the Moth only 2 months. I would not be the host of the Moth. I would not be standing here today if it was not for my training in Toastmasters. Last year at District 14 Conference, I gave a workshop called From Speaker to Storyteller. And in that workshop, I told about the transition that I've made in my life and how I speak and what I do on a day-to-day basis from giving speeches to telling stories. And Larry will tell you, it was packed. It was sold-out audience. And I've been invited next month to give that same workshop at the District 44 Conference. It's called From Speaker to Storyteller. And in that workshop on Saturday afternoon, we're going to walk you through the elements of what it takes to become a good storyteller. So I want to close with a call to action of inviting you all, if you're attending the District 44 Conference next month in Norcross. Thank you, Renisha, who's hosting the conference.
Thank you, sir.
I want to invite you all to please come out to my workshop. We're going to give you some very good content. We're going to get in depth. We're going to talk about developing stories, developing your signature stories. And I'd like you all to join us next month in March. Thank you.